Hello world, it's Hatim Tekri. Now in this video, we understand the for loop. First we see the flowchart of for loop or the execution of for loop. So the flowchart of for loop is same as the flowchart of while loop. So in the flowchart, first there is an initialization. That's mean the initialization of counter variable. And after the initialization, there is a condition, and if the condition gives true result, then it perform the body of the loop, and after the body of the loop, it's execute the increment functionality, and after the increment functionality, it again goes to the condition part and check the condition. If the condition gives true result, then it's again perform the body of the loop, and it repetitively execute the body of the loop until the condition gives true result. And if the condition gives false result, then it come out of the loop and perform code after loop block. First there is the initialization, and after the initialization it's check the condition. If the condition gives true result, then it perform the body of the loop, and if the condition gives false result, then it come out of the loop and perform code after for loop. Now we see the syntax of for loop. So the syntax of for loop is different from the syntax of while loop. So first we write the for keyword, and inside the bracket we put three things. In loop there are three things: initialization, condition and increment functionality. So in for loop we put these three things inside one bracket. So the for keyword, and inside the bracket first we mention the initialization, then the condition and then the increment functionality, and we have to put the semicolon in between, and after that we put the two curly braces, and inside that we put our code, which is known as the body of the loop. So how the execution work? First it's execute the initialization, and after the initialization it's check the condition. If the condition gives true result, then it execute the body of the loop. After execution of body of the loop, it's execute the increment functionality, which is the third part inside the bracket. And after the increment, it's again check the condition. If the condition gives true result, then only it goes to the body of the loop and execute the code. If the condition gives false result, then it come out of the loop and perform code after loop block. So now we see the example of for loop using the program. So move on to the program. First clear this. Now in for loop, first we write for keyword, and inside the bracket there are three things: initialization, condition and increment functionality. So first we mention the initialization. For initialization we create the counter variable int I and initialize the counter variable equal to 0, then semicolon, and then the condition. Condition would be in this case we want to print the hello world 10 times, so the condition would be I is less than 10, then semicolon. Now the third thing is increment functionality, that is I plus plus. This I plus plus is equal to I plus 1. This I plus plus is an increment operator, which means I equal to I plus 1, which increment the I value by 1. After the bracket, we have to put the two curly braces, which is known as the loop block. Now inside the loop block, we write our code. Now we understand how the execution work. So first it create the counter variable and assign the counter variable equal to 0. First it's check the condition, that whether the counter variable is less than 10 or not. If the condition gives true result, then it goes inside the loop and execute the code. And after executing the code, or at the end of the for loop, it goes to the increment functionality. and increment the counter variable by 1. After the increment, it's again check the condition, and if the condition gives true result, then only it goes inside the loop and execute the code. Now let's imagine that value of I is equal to 9. So it's check whether the I is less than 10 and it give true result. It goes inside the loop block, execute the code. After executing the code, it execute the increment functionality, which increment the I value by 1. So after the increment, the value of I would be 10. Now it's check whether I is less than 10 and the condition gives false result because I is equal to 10, because the value of I is equal to 10. So in this case, it come out of the loop and perform code after loop block. Let's print after loop. So what happened? It's print the hello world 10 times, and after the loop, it's print this statement. So let's check, click on the run button, and yeah, it's print hello world 10 times, and after the hello world, it's print after loop. So in this way, the for loop works. So if we recap, in the for loop, we mentioned the three important things of loop inside one bracket. That is initialization, condition, and increment functionality. And if the condition gives true result, then it perform the loop block. If the condition gives false result, then it come out of the loop and perform code after loop block. Now in upcoming videos, we take the example of for loop and understand the for loop in a much better way. So in this video, we have understand the flowchart of for loop, the syntax of for loop, the execution of for loop, and the example of for loop using the program. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.